Every handcrafted piece begins long before it's finished, from measuring and mixing to pouring and waiting patiently for each layer to cure. Creating resin is an art process that takes time and care. This is how my Luxe Resin Statement Bowl began. I'm using craft resin, of course, and it calls for 16 ounces for this process. I slowly stirred it, mixed it. It's a 1-to-1 measurement to get everything together. I'm using for this technique alcohol ink, which I'm putting the alcohol ink into the mold. Since we're not filling up the mold all the way, I'm only using 16 ounces. Normally this mold uses about 32 ounces. Since you're making a bowl, you want to use 16 ounces. As you probably seen, I mixed 20 because I got 2 more little mold pieces over there, but I'm not going to show that part of it. It's a little blurry, but I am using blue alcohol ink, brown, black, and olive gold. See, that picture came right back. And I'm just dropping. I want it to be mostly blue, but I want to see the other colors. But spoiler, you don't. So I'm dropping in blue, just like you're doing a little petri dish or something. So I'm dropping in the blue first because I want it to be mostly blue. Which if I did this over again, I probably wouldn't do that. So blue, and then I go in with the brown. I was like, okay, I really don't want to do a lot of brown. And I'm also dropping in black. I didn't want to do a lot of black. And then that olive gold, which is just like the olive gold that I have. It's like a little shimmer. It makes it stand out a little bit more. If you paid attention to the first part of the video, which is the actual bowl, how it came out. And so I'm just dropping everything in there, and I'm like, maybe I need some more, this and that. I went back and actually put more blue in there. I'm not saying it's a fail because it came out good, and Handmade may have some flaws to me, but it still came out beautiful. Like, this bowl was for the house. I'm redecorating, or finally getting around to some decorating and reorganizing. So I was like, no, I'm just go ahead and make a piece for the house. So perfect for me, right? And with alcohol ink, as you can see, I'm shaking it up because the alcohol and the color will drop down to the bottom. So you want to make sure that it's mixed up really good. Even though I shaked it before this video, I shake it up. I don't know, it's just a habit. I shake it up again. And I really like the alcohol ink anyway, this technique, because it helps with the bubbles. I believe it helps it with the bubbles. And if it don't, it does, because it has alcohol in there. So you don't, well, craft resin, I would say, doesn't, anyway, you don't really need it. And let me back up. I let the resin set too, because it needed some bubbles that need to come up to the top and pop. So as you can see, I'm pouring it directly. I'm trying to pour it in the middle. You can't see, my hand is in the way, but it's okay. You'll see it. And then I go around the edges because I noticed that it's dark around the edges and it looks black. And honestly, I didn't use that much black. I wanted some black spots in there, and I thought it would spread out more, but it did not. So I'm like, okay, let me take the rest of this clear resin and put it around to try to make it stretch a little bit more. In which, when it sits, it's going to spread more. I just didn't want it to spread more black. I want it to be, again, more blue. My favorite color is what, guys? Blue and pink. Just didn't do no pink this time, but my house is always going to have something blue and pink. Like my office is probably more pink than anything, but blue is my color, okay? So I'm scraping every little ounce and drop out that thing, out that cup, so I can get it out and everything. So again, it was 16 ounces. It's going to fill it halfway, and that's what you want. You don't want it. You could do it full, but I can imagine it'll be a thick bowl, but it's to your liking. I seen somebody else do it, and I've been doing it this way ever since because it just makes sense to me. You're not using a bunch of resin. Unless you're doing a tray, then use all the resin. Just that makes sense. So, but it's easier this way. So I'm trying to get everything out of there. So what I do is I tried to go back and make some swirls. It's still going to continue to pull or whatever, So I was just making some swirls. Sometimes I like to make a heart in the middle. I'm making this X because I'm like, I need some more of this olive gold to pop in there. Even though it's not gonna fall all the way to where I want it to be. But the X does serve a purpose because when I set it in the bowl, it helps me to the X marks the spot where it needs to line up at. So that's one reason I do it. But the other reason the main reason is to put more of that color in there so it can look better. So I'm hitting it with some alcohol spray. It's just, what is it, 90%, 91% alcohol spray that I put in there. Again, I probably really didn't need to do it, but it's just out of habit. And I also have a heat gun where I go around the edges because sometimes, and a lot of times, the bubbles get trapped around the edges and it just be there. So I'm just going around and just in case, I'm going to cover myself 2, 3, 4 times and try to pop those bubbles. I'm just not that confident that those bubbles, even though craft resin is great, don't get me wrong, they're a great product. And I have tried many other products, but I still just go around and just cover myself. One thing I do is let the resin sit for 5 minutes to let it come to the top after it's mixed and spray it with alcohol spray. And then I spray with alcohol spray, but you don't want to spray too much because you can probably mess it up. I'm pretty sure it's out there somebody put too much. And then be careful with the heat gun too because you can melt the mold. I've done that. But be careful with the heat gun. So I got these other 2 molds. I'm not going to show that part of it. I made some extra resin, but you will see it here. I didn't show that process because that was an extra couple of minutes. I'm just trying to show you the bowl, and I'm going back over it again with the heat gun. I might have noticed a little bubble or something, but I'm about to go all the way back around here again. Just, again, my triple, double covering because I don't want no bubbles. And if I was making this for somebody, I make it as if I'm making it for myself, everything I do. So, and then here I go again. I think I do, I'm hitting it with some more spray, but then I let it set for 5.5 hours. It's not sticky, it's not tacky, but you can at least maneuver it. I'm still gonna have gloves on because it's not fully cured, and I probably still have my mask on too. But I'm taking it out the mold, and it's white where I want it because sometimes you can take it out. You gotta be careful, and it'll tear. I haven't had one tear on me yet. So remember that X I put in there? So I'm kind of folding it into the bowl. I found this bowl at, I think it was Family Dollar when I was in Texas, and I had bought 2. So I'm putting this in the bowl. I do it inside the bowl. I know people do it on the outside, but I don't like it that way. And I've seen people do it this way. I like it this way. So I'm putting it inside of the bowl. I'm making sure it's straight in. So I'm going to adjust it as needed because I'm trying to get that little circle on the bottom to line up with that X that middle of that X that I did. And then you got to make sure it's already pushed in there. And so once I get it in there, you're going to see me put my hand down because I'm pushing it down. But I'm also like bending up the corners, the edges, I should say. I'm bending up the edges so that it will have the wavy pattern. I like the wavy pattern. And then I also just balled up some plastic wrap and I put it behind the pieces around the edges so it can stay like that because it probably will fall back. I don't want it to fall back. And then another thing you will see, which I didn't record, I had put some masking tape to kind of hold it. I have seen somebody just not use a bowl and they use masking tape. I have not mastered that technique to do that. I'm not that confident yet, I'll say. So the little plastic behind it helps. The little masking tape helps it hold it down. But you also have to have something to hold it down in the middle too. And as you can see, I'm trying to make sure it's adjusted right. I'm pushing it down. Put my little plastic balls in there. Again, it's just saran wrap or whatever, plastic wrap, and I just balled it up. That's all. And I push it in there. And then I'm going to take the silicone mat and I'm going to put it in there. I'm trying to wash this thing, but I kind of try to make sure it's to my liking before I get to that part, because you need something for it won't pop up. It won't move. So it's almost about to my liking. I'm like, okay, that's cool, that's good. Let me take this silicone mat. I'm gonna put it in there. I'm gonna put something in the middle to help hold it down. Usually I take the resin bottle, but I got like a half a gallon or something, and the bottle was longer. So I just took one of my, what is it called? Cisterns, water things. I filled it up with water. It's just a glass bottle that I have filled up halfway with water so it can help hold it down. And it's going to sit like this for the remaining 18 and a half hours. And now I'm back. Take that thing out of there that's holding it down. You got to have a little bit of weight there. Take that out. Take the silicone mat out. I'm taking again, I didn't show that part, but the blue masking tape is not going to stick, so it's easier to get it off of there and everything. And usually you could just pull it up and it pops right out, no problem. Yep, there it is. And I can see more of the blue, of course, obviously, and then I do see the olive gold in there. The closer I look at it, personally, I can see some of the brown. The black is in there, but of course, it came out good. I don't care. It came out good, even though can't really tell the black and the blue, but it really came out good. If I did it again, I'd probably put a little bit more brown in there, but it came out exactly how I wanted to come out. You know, it is. See, it's a little brown and olive green there. Every piece is one of a kind, and that's what I like about being handmade items. Thank you for supporting Handmade and being part of my journey. Thank you, and God bless.